Welcome to Drum Corps Central, a podcast. I am a 13-year-old drum corps superfan who loves all forms of the marching arts. Thanks for watching the podcast today. There will be an almost daily episode of this podcast recapping the previous night's drum corps scores and looking ahead. Today is Friday, August 3rd, 2018. Tonight marks the start of a two-day regional across DCI, the DCI Eastern Classic in Allentown, Pennsylvania. One of the members, the fans, my favorite regional events of the season. I'll get to that today, plus a look at last night's show in Rome, New York, and a look at the other two open class events tonight. There are two other open class events, and open class championships start Monday, so there's a lot to get to with that. Thank you for tuning in today. Lots to get to. So, first up today, let's get to last night's scores from Rome, New York. Drums along the Mohawk. 8 world-class scores here. There were 2 world-class shows last night. The second in Lawrence, Massachusetts. That one was standstilled due to rain. Hopefully that will not be the case tonight in Allentown because obviously not only it being on flow marching, but with it being one of the highest attended events of all of the tour season, I think that a lot of people want that event to happen. So hopefully that does not happen tonight. I'll talk a little bit about that when we get to that show, though. Anyway, 8 world-class scores here. Blue Stars easy first, 87.05. Academy pulled back away from Spirit. Spirit had caught them and pulled away by like 2 points. Academy, I'm sure, has incorporated some changes and that kind of stuff into that show, puts them in an 84 even second of this one. Spirit of Atlanta third with an 83.3. Don't rule any of those corps, well, I mean Academy and Spirit, out from getting a finalist berth. I think that it's a very well possibility. I think it could definitely happen. Madison Scouts fourth at 80.75, Troopers fifth at 80.0, Oregon Crusaders sixth with a 72.75, Jersey Surf seventh, a 67.35, and Pioneer eighth with a 63.0. Let's take a look at the scoring recap for Drums Along the Mohawk last night. So here you have the recap for general effect and visual at this show. You see a Blue Stars clean sweep. When you start to talk about Academy, Spirit, maybe mix Madison, the Troopers in there, really general effect, there's not much to talk about. You go over to visual, I'm not even going to talk about the Blue Stars here. They're first. Second would be Spirit, third Troopers, fourth Academy, fifth Madison in visual proficiency. Visual analysis, straightforward, and same over in color guard. Then moving over in the music caption here, Brass, Blue Stars first, obviously 4/10 over Spirit. Spirit definitely has put something together very nicely in the music caption this year. Academy third, Troopers fourth, Madison Scouts fifth. Go over to music analysis, you got Blue Stars, Spirit, Academy, Troopers, Madison, and then percussion, Blue Stars, Spirit, Academy, Troopers, Madison. Overall music goes just like that. Blue Stars, Spirits, Academy, Troopers, Madison. That is how those scores came to be. Now for a look at the leaderboard. Let's take a look at the DCI World Class Leaderboard for August 3rd, 2018. So, with that action last night, here's what the World Class Leaderboard now looks like. Obviously, everyone's in Allentown. Everyone in the Allentown area rehearsing. Top 3 here tonight in Allentown, then the next 4 tomorrow night in Allentown. So, really, tonight is the bigger night. And honestly, in my own personal opinion, seeing Vanguard, Blue Devils, Blue Coats over the past few days in person, those shows are just so good. Vanguard is taking it to a new level this season with their musical performance and just the simplistic visual design of it, just the plain kind of uniforms, and it all just kind of revolves around that Babylon topic, and it's just such a strong show. And really, I mean, the Blue Devils are going to have to do something really big over the next week, because if they want to catch Vanguard, they're going to have to do something. Speaking of the Blue Devils, they're in second. That show is also just out of this world. Honestly, with Vanguard and Blue Devils, they're so loud. You can tell they're using so much amplification. Blue Devils, the whole concept of that show, to make it the Nighthawk painting, I mean, whoever did the props and the visual component of that show is just genius. And then you go to the Bluecoats, another corps that, honestly, you put this show out any other year, maybe not last year, but any year before that, you win. No matter if you do it with a traditional uniform or with a costume. I think that the Bluecoats, I think they have something to contend. I think they had something to contend. I think the Blue Devils and Vanguard are just so strong. I think that Vanguard, Blue Devils, and Bluecoats, maybe not on the score charts, but maybe on the own personal opinion of many drum corps fans throughout the drum corps community. I mean, you can't go along a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram feed without seeing a video, picture, whatever, of Vanguard, a meme for that matter. Blue Devils, nobody even talks about them. They're just so good. And the Bluecoats, kind of same deal with Vanguard, kind of like a quarter of what Vanguard's gets. So honestly, I mean, we saw in 2016 with the Bluecoats, the fans just loved it so much that the judges had no other choice than to give the Bluecoats first, and they were so good. I think it's that same case with Vanguard this year. But honestly, I don't think anybody should, I know I keep using the word honestly, but I don't think anyone should be mad if Vanguard doesn't win. Obviously, everyone wants them to, but I don't think anyone should feel like it's not how it should be. I think the Blue Devils have just as good show as Vanguard. I just think Vanguard gets that fan support and just such a strong show on the judging sheets too, that I think that's really where their win is coming from. And when you can piece together both an enjoyable show and a statistically good show, I guess, you're in for a championship. I think that these top three could be three of the top drum corps shows of all time. I think, or at least the new drum corps, like the 2014, like when Bluecoats re-innovated everything with Tilt and the Blue Devils with Fellini-esque. I think these top three could be three of the top 10 shows probably in the past 5-10 years. So I think that really the path to where the program coordinators and the visual designers and all the designers are going is definitely in the positive direction. Meanwhile, down at the bubble, I mean, this has had an up and down. This is a bubble season, the bubble course. I mean, this was 3 points at one point. Now you've got 7th to the 17th within 7 points. Take that in. 11 world-class drum corps within 7 points of each other, all surrounding the bubble. This is unheard of at the competition at this bubble for finals this year. I mean, can't remember the past few years that has been this close for one spot. I mean, yes, the Cadets, Blue Stars, Blue Knights, Phantom, I don't know about Phantom, but those 7, 8, 9 are definitely going to make it. I think the Mandarins are in a safe spot. But once you get within that 1 point, you got Phantom, Crossman, Academy, Spirit, might as well you throw in there within that 2 point. I think that really right now, We get to see Crossman Academy Spirit all tomorrow night in Allentown. Tonight's Phantom. I mean, you can say that this is a regional and everybody's judged by the same judges, but I don't really. I mean, it's two separate days. Yes, you can look at combined results, but it's two separate days. I mean, really is. I mean, the judges, I said this a few days ago on the podcast, that the last corps they would see tonight is the Bluecoats. The first corps they see tomorrow night is, I think, Jersey Surf. So, I mean, the separation between the two, I think, is kind of what kills, because the judges still have to think in the back of their mind, okay, the Bluecoats yesterday, what was their show like? Now I'm comparing that to Crown. I think that's where it kind of gets a little troublesome. Now let's take a look at the DCI Open Class leaderboard for August 3rd, 2018. So here are the 15 Open Class corps going to World Championships. I can't say in August anymore. I have to say on Monday. So, we've been waiting for Golden Empire and Heatwave to make their returns back to the tour. Basically, it seems like all season, but only a few weeks. Golden Empire's last show, California, on the 21st or 22nd. Heatwave, their last show was like the middle of July, like July 15th. So those guys definitely got a lot of points that they're going to make up tonight. I mean, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised to see Golden Empire at an upper 60s, maybe even in the 70s, and Heatwave definitely probably in the 60s. I did not have a podcast the past 2 days, but Shadow came out strong the other day, a 65.5. I mean, they weren't even close to River City Rhythm at the beginning of this month. They've come a long way. And I really thought when I saw them on Flow Marching at St. Louis that show, something about that show had the design and the musical capabilities to defeat Colt Cadets. They're 4 points past them. And then even go the next step. And I don't think they've ever made open class finals. So this would be a huge year for them if they can on Monday. Now let's take a look at tonight's shows for Friday, August 3rd, 2018. So, first up of the 3 shows tonight, Plainwell, Michigan, the Legends Drum Corps Open. The Legends have the Drum Corps Invitational, now they have the Drum Corps Open, both in Michigan. They're 2 home shows. All times Eastern Time on here, 7 o'clock, Welcome to National Anthem. Then 7 open class corps, Shadow, Raiders, Guardians, and 7th Regiment, followed by an intermission at 8:11, 20 minutes that intermission will be. Southwind picks up action at about 8:30. Blue Devils B, Legends. Be interesting to see how Blue Devils B and Legends match up. Can the Legends be within a few points of them? I don't think Spartans or Legends have what it takes to go after Blue Devils B and Vanguard Cadets this season, as I thought they did at one point. But who's going to get that 3rd spot? That's up in the air. I think it's going to be a battle between Legends and Spartans. So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyway, 7th Regiment, a great year for them as well. I think we're kind of overlooking them because they are really well. They could finish 6th this year. They've not been 6th in a few years, so very good year for them. A few notes for the Legends Drum Corps Open, Plainwell High School in Plainwell, Michigan. Weather forecast for this one looks great. Higher 70s to low 70s as the show goes on. Partly sunny and mostly sunny skies. Looks like a great night for some drum corps in Michigan. Second, Allentown, Pennsylvania, the DCI Eastern Classic. All times Eastern Time here. Exhibition Cavalcade of Bands starts off at 6:10. 6:27 to 7:52. That first block, Cascades, Pioneer, Music City, Troopers, Madison, Colts, 8:09, and intermission. Then you go over to the second and final block, Mandarins, Phantom, Blue Stars, Blue Devils, Vanguard, Bluecoats, Cadets 2. Yes, you are seeing it go from Blue Stars to Blue Devils. That is not you hallucinating, as I thought I might have been when I saw that jump. That's going from like 8th or 9th to 2nd or 1st. So, huge jump there. Honestly, tonight would be the worser, at least in my own opinion, of the two nights in Allentown to rain out, and it's the risk they take by keeping us in a non-domed stadium. I mean, a dome in Pennsylvania I don't think there is even one. I can't even think of a dome on the east, like in the Northeast, other than maybe Syracuse, but that's way farther than Allentown. But it's the risk you take, and I think tonight is the weaker of the two shows. Tomorrow, or is the stronger of the two shows. Tomorrow night is weaker because you got the top three tonight. You got the next four tomorrow night. So, I mean, the separation from first to like seventh or eighth is bigger, I think, than maybe it's ever been, because I mean, I'm changing the topic totally from the weather thing I was just talking about, but the separation from the top cores, Vanguard, Bluecoats, Blue Devils, down to like the Cadets. I don't know if the Cadets, they've got a strong musical show, very strong, but you've got Blue Stars, Blue Knights, Phantom, all them. That is so far, maybe not on the score sheets, but when you just are watching the shows, like it's not even close. Like tonight, like Blue Stars to Blue Devils, like that, the show design and the musicianship is just so far apart. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing in some ways, but I mean, it just sets up bigger battles down the leaderboard, and I think that is one of the things making this one of the best seasons in distant memory. Now, usually on the notes screen for the shows, I just have like the location and the weather forecast, and I kind of just blow by it. Not so much for this one. So, DCI Eastern Classic, historical J. Bernie Crum Stadium in Allentown, Pennsylvania. So, as I said, they take a risk by this not being in a dome or I don't know. They just take the risk of this being in a open stadium. Honestly, you look at that weather forecast and you say, oh no, it's just thunderstorms all night. No, let me break this down and try to make it nice. 6 and 8, I do this by 2-hour intervals because it's a 5-hour show, so I don't have 5 slots, I just have the 3. 7 and 9, it's absolutely fine. 5, 7, and 9, it's absolutely fine. So that's one piece of good news. The second piece of good news is the last time I checked this, I mean, I'm seeing a bunch of different stuff from the Weather Channel and from AccuWeather and from whatever, but there's this possibility that this could be a total rain out and like 80% chance of rain. To what I always use AccuWeather for this, and what that's telling me is that it is saying that there is a 51% chance of thunderstorms. And the only time that they ever show anything that is a potential of rain is like 35 or higher. 35% is usually showers, but when you get up to that 51%, I mean, think of that. That's right above 50. If you put that down to a 49, that says right there that it is not it is a possibility of not happening. That is how AccuWeather has their forecast. That 49% is it not happening, 51 or 50 is it happening. So I think that that's the second piece of good news here, is that yes, this little mini weather forecast I have here looks bad, but it's not too bad when you look at the little logistics. You see all these weather guidelines and everything here. I'm just going to read through these, follow along. DCI's posting all over social media. A bunch of people are just making sure everyone has the heads up. With the threat of inclement weather in the forecast for this weekend's DCI Eastern Classic, these are some safety protocols being instituted for the show. DCI will be monitoring conditions with professional weather forecasters to ensure your safety. I know they have one forecaster in, I believe, Oklahoma that does. most of their weather stuff. I'm sure there's others too, and just apps and other tools that they use to make this tough decision to either go ahead or cancel a show. For just a rain shower, whatever, umbrellas are not allowed in J. Bernie Crumb Stadium. They are asking individuals to bring individual rain gear or ponchos, so a poncho, a rain jacket, whatever. They're also saying that you can consider bringing a small towel to wipe off potentially wet bleacher seat. If there's one thing you bring into J. Bernie Crumb Stadium when the threat of rain, it's a towel to wipe off your seat or to sit on, because those seats do get wet. Now, if there's a threat of lightning and damaging winds, now I do have thunderstorms here, but it's more that flash flood thing that everybody's worried about. Not that that will have any implication on the show, but these thunderstorms are kind of just hit and miss. If you just look at the radar, it's really just hit and miss storms and showers. So, with the threat of lightning, as in any thunderstorm, I don't think damaging winds are a factor here, but with the threat of lightning, DCI safety protocols require stadium evacuation when lightning or damaging winds are anticipated or close enough to be dangerous to performers and spectators. I believe it's a 15-mile radius that they use. If there's lightning within 15 miles or a potential hail or damaging windstorm, they will evacuate the stadium, no matter if it's in the middle of the World Champions performance, Santa Clara Vanguard, or there's nothing on the field. So they will do the right things with safety. They say here that the announcement may occur with clear skies overhead to allow time for a safe evacuation. In the event that an evacuation becomes necessary, you will be instructed to leave the stadium and return to your vehicles. Vehicles are not parked that far away at J. Bernie Crumb. It's really street parking. It's not like a huge parking lot. It's like street parking. And vehicles provide safe refuge from lightning storms. The all clear for this one, no, and I think something else we have to take into consideration here, and I don't know if that DCI will, but this is being broadcast on Flow Marching. Not only if you're going to the show, do you have to look at all this stuff, but if you're watching at home on Flow Marching, I mean, pay attention to this stuff because, I mean, I'm sure you don't want to, like, miss out on some cores if they decide to if they decide to restart the show or whatever. So just pay attention to this stuff. So this year, the DCI will use social media to post an all clear message on Facebook and Twitter, and they will give you ample time to return to your seats before performances resume. Follow all safety instructions from the same announcer, and the participating corps and DCI will do everything that they can to ensure the show goes on, no matter if it's a standstill or a performing show, whatever. And they say, we are grateful for your support of course, the world's greatest marching music performers. From that, I guess, sour note, to Cedar Rapids, Iowa Tournament of Drums. 7 o'clock, welcome national anthem. 7:10, international class U-ball from over in the Netherlands. Bunch of open glass scores, then Heatwave Golden Empire returning to action. Colt Cadets River City Rhythm, then an intermission for 20 minutes, all-time Central Time here. Forgot to note that. Gold Spartans, Louisiana Stars, and Vanguard Cadets will round the night off. Not too much on the notes page here. Tournament of Drums, Kingston Stadium and Cedar Rapids. Weather forecast, of course, here looks absolutely wonderful. Now, just a few things. I'm going to change this today to quite a few things. First, make sure to check out drumcorpscentral.weebly.com for all your latest updates from the DCI and DCA summer tours, scores, schedules, leaderboards, and more. Can all be found on my own personal website about all things drum corps, drumcorpscentral.weebly.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at drumcorpsgeek and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Drum Corps Central. Now, just a few other things. all basically about this Allentown show. First, I will also be posting updates on Twitter, probably not Instagram because it takes a while to post there, but on Twitter, just a quick, this is what's happening because I will be at the stadium tonight. I'll just make sure to be tweeting out live updates as they happen there. And then I'll be posting pictures from the show tomorrow morning, no matter if it's a standstill or whatever, tomorrow morning on Instagram and Twitter. Second, if the show was to be delayed just a little bit or any of those factors, there is no noise ordinance in effect in Allentown. So that's fine. So if it does go a little later, like to an 11 or 12 o'clock, I think that it will be okay. I'm not sure DCI wants to push it back that long, but with these scores not having to go too far tonight, I think that is, I mean, they all, I think, return to their housing sites or either like go to Buffalo, but these courses tonight don't have a show tomorrow is kind of what I'm trying to say. So I think that is a factor that they might also think about. And third, I will be posting as soon as I'm done publishing this podcast, a look at the housing sites and rehearsal sites for all the corps in the Allentown area today and tomorrow. Go check out these rehearsals. Part of the drum corps experience is these kids in these corps rehearsing, and you really get to see the behind the scenes of what goes in to that show that you will see Friday and Saturday. That's it for today on Drum Corps Central, a podcast. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Good luck to all performers at performing corps in Allentown, Cedar Rapids, and Plainwell. Hopefully the show goes on.